few ways that managing conflict and incorporating negotiation practices can give people an advantage in their companies. And one of those reasons is this by initiating negotiations and confronting conflicts in a respectful way, it builds stronger relationships. So, like, whenever you initiate negotiation, instead of just attacking the other person, just being like throwing money the other way, and like, I'll sue because you're making me angry. Instead of just like getting severely emotional about it and angry and all the things, whenever you show the other person respect by establishing that you want to take the time to be like, hey, let's talk about this. Even if a third party has to be there to be able to do those things, I respect you enough and respect the situation enough that I'd rather talk this through, be cordial about it. And if we have to get other measures involved, we can later down the road. But in the beginning stages, usually a lot of conflicts can be handled through very calm and not too crazy negotiation methods. So, and it helps maintain relationships so you don't get to that really emotional place. If you show the other person kindly, being like, hey, I disagree with this thing. Can we please sit down and try to like work something out? Have this other person help us try to negotiate through this thing. It's showing the other person that you're trying to preserve the relationship and you're not willing to destroy it over this one situation. And I believe that just like gives people the advantage of respect within a company and just life in general. Another way that um, negotiation and managing conflict within workplaces and just situations in general, how this gives people an advantage would be it improves problem solving skills. So whenever you actually sit down, try to work with the person, trying to find different ways to be able to work towards a win-win situation, you're exercising critical thinking. And whenever you're exercising critical thinking, it's helping enhance thinking out of the box to be able to solve issues. And not only can this help you solve the situation at hand, it can help you solve other situations outside the workplace or just other parts of the workplace as well, not necessarily a conflict resolution type deal. Um, and yeah, it just kind of helps exercise your brain a little bit to be able to do critical thinking because critical thinking is leaving the society. So it's really good to be able to exercise good problem solving skills, and it gives you the advantage of enhancing your mental capacity. It makes you smarter and it helps you think outside of the box. Another way that these conflict resolutions and negotiation gives people an advantage is that it enhances their leadership. So whenever you're initiating this practice, you're enhancing your leadership style by asserting decisive measures and showing people that, hey, you are a capable leader that can make reasonable decisions, and being able to prove that to others is important for others to kind of like respect this person, be like, hey, this person actually took the time to be able to manage this conflict. This manager took time to manage this conflict and negotiate through the situation in a very professional way. Maybe this is someone that I can trust because they have shown that they are a capable leader. Um, the advantage of promoting win-win outcomes is also very important when considering negotiating and managing conflict. Um, I think a lot of people, including myself, automatically think that like negotiations is just like a compromise in a way. You're trying to like someone is going to win a little bit so the other person can win a little bit, but it's rare that both people can get all what they want in a situation. But as I've learned in my negotiation class last year, a win-win outcome can be achieved more often than you think. It's not 100% of the time, but it can be achieved. And I think by promoting this practice and prioritizing the outcome of a win-win situation shows to your counterpart that you're not trying to destroy the relationship. You're not trying to attack the other person. You're just trying to work through a situation. And you care about the other person's standpoint. You want them to win as well. And I think whenever you show that you want them to win, while you also want them to respect what you want in the situation, it helps foster and protects the relationship and fosters a professional work atmosphere and just respect in general. If you don't respect the other person's viewpoint and really want to listen to it and want to try to work through it, you're showing to the other person that their opinion doesn't matter and they don't matter in the workplace or they don't matter in the situation, which can heighten emotions and ruin work experiences. Um, Another way that this managing conflict and negotiation is an advantage within a company and situations because it increases influence. When you effectively manage conflicts well, you can gain a reputation that is fair, responsible, reasonable, and yeah, I think it goes hand in hand with like respect and showing that you're becoming a better leader through initiating negotiation instead of just throwing money the other way or just attacking the other person or even just sweeping the situation under the bush and letting those negative connotations fester. But by actually being upfront, bringing to light the conflicts in a respectful way that shows the other counterpart that you care about the standpoint as well, it's showing other people that you're fair and you seek fairness and you seek justice and you seek being reasonable and being skilled and practicing this practice so you can become a better leader. And I think that speaks louder than words. It helps people want to work with you and stay with the company if they can trust who they're leading will be able to help resolve issues within the workplace. And lastly, I think an advantage of managing conflict and incorporating negotiation as like a core policy within the company is it reduces stress and tension. I've had many situations with like housemates and friends where I get so stressed because the other people are just not willing to talk about it, but I was also stressed because I wasn't willing to talk about it. I was afraid about ruining the relationship by confronting the situation when really I was harming the relationship because I was sweeping it under the rug and negative emotions towards the other person started to fester in me. The longer I went without confronting the situation, the more stressed I felt and the more disrespected I felt whenever I wasn't able to confront it. And even though in everyone's perfect world, they always want the other person to confront the issue, sometimes you gotta be the one that confronts the issue because maybe they want to as well, but they are afraid. So you can be the bigger person and initiate that practice. And when you sit down and actually talk about the conflict and actually take time to actively hear what the other person has to say and you guys both go in with the intention of a win-win situation, it does reduce stress. And maybe it doesn't happen the very first try and maybe it takes a third party negotiator to try to help you get to that point, but whenever you try to hit situations on the head as they're happening and don't let it fester and don't let it build up or just have that question of like, oh, how is it going to go because I'm not confronting the issue. By confronting it and incorporating managing conflict and negotiations within the workplace, it gives people the sense of like, hey, if there is a conflict, it is encouraged for us to figure it out in a respectful and collaborative way. Um, and that helps kind of reduce the stress of like uncertainty of what things are going to do and how you feel about situations. So I believe overall incorporating these gives any company the advantage of cultivating a safe workplace of respect and fairness. And all places and all situations and all workplaces are going to have conflict, but it's how you manage it, how you approach it that can help make your company flourish or not, because a company is not a company without a like solid base and policy for employees to follow and like their mission. And if your mission is to be able to resolve those things without just sweeping it under the rug, you're set up for success. And from personal experience, I do think that negotiating and confronting conflict in a respectful way is very beneficial and can reduce stress overall. Trying to think of anything else. Yeah, I think that's all I got. And it helps. Last thing, it overall, it doesn't only help the employees in the conflict situation resolve it. Not only is that important, but it's also important to show that you are a leader that seeks fairness, seeks helping others resolve conflict, and you care about relationships over pride and what you automatically want to get out of the situation. That's it.